Good morning. Welcome to Active Aging with Barb. My name is Barb Eisenberg. I'm a physical therapist assistant and also a licensed massage therapist. I work with the team at Therapy at Home, where our passion is to inspire seniors like you to live happier, healthier lives so that you can age successfully and independently with a positive attitude. Together, we can create possibilities as we get older and better. This is March, and March is National Nutrition Month. So today I'm going to be talking about, for about 5 minutes, about a healthy gut. That means a healthy digestive system. And I'll mention 3 ways that we can increase the good bacteria and reduce the bad bacteria. The idea is to keep them in balance. Then we'll get moving with an exercise program to strengthen our muscles and mobilize as many joints as possible. Remember, this information today is for educational purposes only. It's not meant to diagnose a specific condition or treat or diagnose a condition or treat any specific ailment or disease. So remember, if you have questions about your own body, check with your healthcare provider. So why is it important to know about a healthy gut? We have 3 pounds of bacteria in and on our bodies. That's a lot of bacteria. And there's good bacteria, there's bad bacteria. We want to keep the bad bacteria in check, and we want to increase the numbers of good bacteria. That will keep us healthy. They're just beginning to realize how important these bacteria are for good health. So we have good bacteria in our respiratory system and in our digestive tract, and these bacteria help control our metabolism. They help regulate our immune system, and they do this by keeping the white blood cells from overreacting. When we have overreacting white blood cells, we can get inflammation, and it can lead to autoimmune diseases like lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and even multiple sclerosis. So we want to keep that inflammation in check. So there's 3 ways we're going to talk about to keep a healthy gut. 1 is to eat prebiotic foods, 2 is to eat probiotic foods, and 3 is to avoid foods that promote the growth of those bad bacteria. So number 1, prebiotic foods. I didn't even hear about prebiotic foods a few years ago. A prebiotic food is a food with fiber that helps feed the good bacteria. So prebiotic foods help improve our immune system, reduce inflammation, and they help reduce our risk of many of the chronic diseases that are very prevalent these days. And to know about some good sources of these prebiotics, leafy green vegetables, things like spinach, leeks, garlic, onions, whole wheat, bananas, beans, soybeans, oats. So you've got lots of choices there. Number 2, probiotic foods. Probiotic foods are fermented foods that contain the live cultures. And the live cultures are just the actual live bacteria in the foods that when we eat them, they stay in our gut and hopefully they will grow and help balance out the bad bacteria. Some sources for probiotics are sauerkraut, tempeh, miso, kimchi, and something called water kefir that I've never heard of. It's made from a cactus. So I'm going to check into that. If you haven't heard of some of these things, check them out, give them a try. You might like them. I'll let you know maybe next time if I could find some white water kefir and what it was all about. Number 3, avoid things that help promote the growth of the bad bacteria. Number 3, so avoid meat, eggs, dairy, and fatty foods as much as possible. Those are foods that promote the growth of the bad bacteria. They also might contain antibiotics. We don't want to take antibiotics if we don't need them. They can kill the good bacteria along with killing the bad bacteria. So I hope you got some good information from this. For our next video, we're going to be talking about frozen shoulder. That's when your shoulders get, one or both shoulders might get stiffer and stiffer until you can't reach your arm over your head. This is normal to be able to reach over your head. And we'll talk about that next time. It's also called adhesive capsulitis, fancy words. And we're going to get moving in a minute with our exercise program. But if you haven't exercised for a while, and you should always check with your healthcare provider first just to get the okay. And if we start exercising and you start to feel any symptoms like chest pains, dizziness, shortness of breath, those are kind of a red flag and you should stop and get checked out, make sure you're okay. All right, let's get moving. We always start with a warm-up. And a good way to warm up is to bend our knees. Bending our knees activates these quad muscles. These are large muscles. They help pump the blood. We want to stay relaxed, lowering down and pushing up. You're pushing your knees apart a little bit. That helps protect the knee joint. And you don't want your knee to go over your ankle, over your toes. They can stay over your ankle, not over your toes. So pumping these quad muscles up and down. Slowly down and up. And you want to take nice deep breaths. That helps get oxygen to your tissues, getting your tissues ready to work, those muscle cells. Deep breath. Deep breath in and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Now let's just shift our weight side to side. So you're shifting onto one leg and the other leg, activating our calf muscles now, and also working our balance a little bit. So shifting side to side. You don't want to lift your hip up. You're just keeping level and just shifting your weight. I can feel my ankles loosening up now. You might hear some cracking. That's perfectly okay. Just loosening up the joints, getting the synovial fluid moving in there. All right. And let's move on, getting our arms involved. So swaying side to side. Looking to one wall and the other wall. Getting the blood flowing in our spine and in our shoulders now. Still pumping the legs. Reaching one side and the other side. And then you can reach higher. Still staying relaxed. When you're doing the warm-up, you want to be relaxed to let the blood flow. Good work. Looking one way and the other way. And now we're going to rotate around the spine. Remember, our spines are meant to move in all different directions. And many people, as we get older, get stiffer and stiffer until you can't turn around anymore. We want to mobilize our spines across and across. Now let's go up and up. Reaching up and up. Still staying nice and relaxed. Pumping those legs. Good work. Reaching up and up and up. All right. And let's do a step. Step, still swinging the arms. Good work. Side to side, side to side. And if you add a little bend in the knees, that pumps the blood even more. Good job. All right. And back to the rotation. Should be warming up a little bit. Maybe you can twist a little farther. Rotate and rotate. Our arms act like levers and they help you twist a little farther. They're connected to our shoulders, shoulders connected to the back. Reaching across and across. Still pumping the legs. Okay. Good job. Let's do some kicks. So we're kicking across, kicking across. Good job. Kick and kick. Anytime you lift up your foot, you're working your balance because you're standing on one foot. So we always want to work into some balance exercises to keep our balance reflexes strong. If you don't work them, they're just like some other muscles. They will shrink and get weaker. So you want to keep your balance reflexes strong. And if you work them, they will respond. Our bodies are amazing machines. They will respond to what we do to them. And if we do nothing, they will also respond to that. It's that old, if you don't use it, you will lose it. So use all your muscles and they'll stay with you. They'll stay healthy and strong. Kicking across, kicking across. And a couple of nice deep breaths. I'm going to add my arms to rotate a little more around my spine. And we're going to get ready to do a big shoulder rotation and then a figure eight. All right, so big rotation with the arm 3 times and then figure eight. Figure eight. Really rotating around the spine, getting that shoulder moving. And we'll go to the other side. Big circle, big rotation, 3. We'll go for 4, and then figure eight. Rotate in the front and rotate in the back. Big rotation. We're just moving the arm, but we're also rotating around the spine. You should feel this. And we're also pumping the legs. So we really try to work multiple muscle groups so you get a lot more work done in a shorter amount of time. Big rotation. And let's do both arms. So elbows back, up, and pull them forward. And when you pull forward, you should feel a nice stretch in your lower back. Now, some of these motions look very simple, but if you do them the right way, they can be very powerful. So you can just do like this. You're not going to get a whole lot out of it. But if you really pull back, you'll feel it in your shoulders, you'll feel it in your upper back, pulling back, then pulling outward, then rounding your back and pulling your hands in one direction, your back in the other direction. You should really feel a strong stretch in your lower back. And then you can reach up and open the chest. So there's a big difference between just doing this. That's not really doing anything. But if you really reach and open up and really activate those muscles, you will feel it. So let's do a couple more. Reaching forward and then up and around, opening up the chest. We don't want to get rounded shoulders as we get older, shorter and shorter until we look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Reaching forward and reaching up and opening the chest. Good job. Now when you push your heels away from your hands, I could even feel it here in my forearms. So another muscles being activated, being stretched and strengthened. All right, let's move on to hips. So we're going to put one toe out in front, point the toe and lift the leg. We're using these hip flexors for 8, 7. If you need your chair, keep it nearby. If you don't need it, or if you want to work your balance even more, just keep it nearby, but try not to use it. And you'll see my ankles kind of wiggling a little bit. That's balance reflexes. And I'm going to switch. So get yourself set. Core is tight. Toe is out in front. Knee is straight. Lifting up. Good job. Always working posture. Always working core. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's switch again. We'll go with a flexed foot. So we're working the front of the leg. Up for 8. Don't have to lift it that high. We're still activating those muscles. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Other side. Toes pointing up and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Let's go on to the calf muscles. So lifting up with the heels and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Let's try a couple with one leg. So you're really loading up that calf, and lift up on your toe and down, up and down. Really works your balance. I need my chair for this one. Up on your toe and lower down, up on the toe, lower down. Good work. Other side. Foot is flat, knee is straight, lifting up and lower down, up and down, up and down. One more, up and down. Really works your balance, working your calf muscle. All right, let's go. Straight leg out in the front. We're going to lift up in the front. We'll do it with a flex foot this time, and then out to the side. And up in the front, and out to the side. Front and side, front and side. Now we'll do a circle. Front, side, back. Point the toe this time. Front, side, back. Really working the balance. Also working all the hip muscles because we're working in all different directions. Front, side, and back. Let's do the other side. Toe is pointed. Lifting up and circle around to the back. Front, circle around. Trying to stay nice and tall. Tendency is to bend forward so you can lift it higher in the back. But you don't need to do that. You're still activating those glute muscles. So we're working the hip flexor, the hip abductor, and then when you go to the back, you're working the hip extensor. Front, side, and back. Front, side, and back. Good job. All right, let's move on to shoulders. So arms straight out to the side, and we're pushing back for 8, 7, 6, just a small movement, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then we'll go up like a V and push back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And down like an upside down V, pushing back, working the shoulder. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. All right, let's do a little plie. So we're going to go down for 2, up for 1. So we're going fast on the way up, slow on the way down. Up, lower down for 2, and push up. Down for 2, and up. Down for 2, and up. Really looking for the power. You want your muscles to be able to work at a slow pace, but also quickly, because there are some times where you have to move fast, getting out of the way of whatever. You want to move slow and fast. Down for 2, and up. This is for power in these quad muscles. It'll help you get out of a chair more easily, help you get out of the car, help you climb stairs. Really important quad muscles. Down for 2, and up. One more, and up. Good job. We're going back to the hip extensors. So we're going to have one leg bent and pushing back. You might need to keep your toe on the ground to help you get this motion. So you're pushing your leg back, trying to activate this posterior glute muscle. So pushing back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. If you put your hand back here, you should feel it working. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Let's try the other side. Use your chair if you need it. I'm going to try to work my balance a little bit and do it without the chair. So pushing back for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So when you're working this muscle, you're also stretching the front, which is really important. If you're going to have a good stride when you're walking, you take one step, this leg goes behind you. So you really have to have a little bit of flexibility here. Otherwise, your stride will get shorter and shorter unless you have that length in this muscle. So really important to stretch this one out and to strengthen the glutes in the back. All right, let's work these tricep muscles. We're going to work the quads at the same time. So feet wide, lower down, and we're going to push to the front with one arm, push to the front, pull back, and pull back. Push down, pull up, and pull up. Push out, out, pull in. Start again, front and front. Pull back, push down, push out, push out. Again, front and front, pull back, working my balance a little too. And pull up, and push out. Let's try behind. A little more work with the core. Keep pushing behind, and push behind, and push behind. That's the hardest one for me. Push behind, and 2 more. And then down and reach up. And let's go down again. Pushing front and front. Pull back, down and down, out and out. Good job. Let's shake it out a little bit. And do a little more work on the calves. So we're going to work the quads at the same time. We want multiple muscle groups. So feet are wide, lower down, and then just try to lift your heels a little bit. Hold on to that chair for balance. So lifting your heels, up with the heels. Up, 2, 3, 4. Activating the calf muscle. 7 and 8. Let's go fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, and fast. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And come up. Good job. I could feel a little burning in here. That's perfectly normal. These quads are getting tired, that's all. All right, what's next? Let's go into a little lunge. So wider with your feet. And you can use this leg for support. Lean over on this one and reach as far as you can. So we're looking for loading up the core and then lifting. So you reach over, loading up the quad, loading up the core muscles, and lift up. It's your core, it's your abdominal muscles that keep you from falling over. Reach up, reach over. You can lean here if you need to. And pull up. So bend that knee, reach as far as you can so you're lengthening. And then when you pull up, you're strengthening. You want to lengthen the muscles and then strengthen them. So it keeps them long, it keeps the joints separate so they don't get jammed together. Let's turn and do it the other side. So toe pointing out, bend that knee. You can lean on it if you need to, but try to make a long line from your toe all the way to the tip of your fingers. You might need a mirror, so reach as far as you can. Really try to feel that length in your ribs and your shoulder, and come up. Reach as far as you can. And come up. Reach. And come up. Reach. And come up. Couple more. Reach as far as you can. And up. Reach. And come up. Let's do 3 more. Reach way far. 2 more. And one more. Good work. Let's do a little stretch for the hamstrings. So if you have a chair available, otherwise put your heel on the ground and come forward this way. I'm going to put my foot up, and you can turn your toe in and out. Helps loosen up that hip joint. When you get tight in the hip joints, it can often affect your lower back. We have chains of muscles are all connected, and you really want to mobilize all of your joints so you don't have a blockage anywhere. And then bend from the hip joint and come forward, getting a good stretch in the hamstrings and also up into the glute that we were working. And deep breath. Good work. And then I'm going to come up and switch legs, turning the toe in and out to loosen up that hip joint. Good job. You can go up and down with the toe and then come forward from the hip joint. You can bend the knee you're standing on and hold, chest is up. Rounding out loses most of the stretch. So a lot of these exercises might look like something you've seen before, but if you fine tune it, you get the most benefit. Look at the details in the exercises. Bottom leg is bent, top leg is straight, toe is pointing up for a little extra calf stretch, and your chest is up. Should feel a nice long stretch in the hamstring. Good work. All right. Let's get back to some balance work. So I haven't done any yoga for a while. I'm going to show you a yoga exercise, and so it's called a warrior pose. One foot is forward, one foot is back and out to the side a little bit. So you got a little bit more than hip distance apart. Front knee will bend, back leg you try to keep it straight, and you try to keep your heel down. If you don't have the flexibility in your ankle and your calf, do the best you can. So front knee is bent, back leg is straight. Knee is over your ankle, and then when you're ready, bring your arms up, nice and tall. This is the warrior pose. So we're working front leg, we're working back leg, we're working shoulders, we're working core. Sometimes you can do a little movement with it, so you can kind of do a bow, engaging more of the core, and then coming back up. And lowering down, so you're working core again, also working your balance a little bit. Lowering down, flat back, and coming up, nice and tall. Arms as straight as you can, but you don't want to let your shoulders rise up. And let's switch. So other leg forward, feet about hip distance apart. Back leg can be turned out at about a 45-degree angle. Then you bend your front knee. Front knee is bent, but the knee is over the ankle, not coming forward over the toes. So you're activating this quad. The back leg is as straight as you can get it. So you're stretching this hip flexor. You're also activating your calf muscle, trying to get the heel down if you can. And then when you're ready, you reach one arm up, reach the other arm up. Warrior pose, strong warrior. Shoulders are not coming up to your ears. And then if you want to do a little movement with it, you can do a little bow. So back is flat, you're really loading that quad, and then coming back up and lowering down. Neck is straight, you're not letting your head hang. And bow and reaching up again. And feet back together, shake it out. That was the warrior pose, warrior one. All right, let's do a little more balance work. So we're going to tap to the left and lift, left and lift, left and lift. You're trying to stop for just a second, if you can. and up. 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. Anytime you're standing on one leg, you're activating this hip joint, this hip muscles, and really important for balance. You're also strengthening that hip joint. So let's do the other side. So pushing off and lifting up. Push and lift. This side is a lot harder for me. And lift. Everybody has one side that feels better than the other side. And lift. And lift. And lift. Trying to stop for just a second. And lift. And lift. Good job. Talking about hip strength, great exercise to do is just to stand on one leg. You can use a chair for balance if you need it, but eventually you want to try to work up to where you don't have to hold on anymore. So just lifting up one leg, putting all the weight on the other leg. You want to try to look in the mirror because sometimes you want to keep the hips level. You don't want to let that hip drop. That's activating this hip abductor, really important for balance. And if you do this 3 times a day for 1 minute, you actually increase the bone density in your hip joint. Really important as we get older to have strong bones. So 1 minute, 3 times a day, each leg. We'll just do it for maybe 20 seconds today. If you want to work your balance even more, try to let go of your chair or your counter. You might feel your ankle wiggling. That's your balance reflexes working. Good job. Let's switch legs. Get yourself set. Leg is straight. Other leg is up off the ground. And then try to let go if you can. Make sure you try to keep your hips level. Don't let that hip drop. You can tell if when people are walking and they shift side to side, that's a weakness in the hips. So strengthening the hip joints, improving the balance. 1 minute, 3 times a day, standing on one leg. Simple exercise, really powerful. Strengthens hip joints, strengthens the hip muscles, improves your balance. Almost done. Let's take a couple of breaths to release any extra tension. Reaching up and blowing out. And reaching up and blowing out. One more time. Reaching up and blowing out. Thank you for joining me. Till next time, stay strong. Be well. Bye-bye.